Cavill out of The Witcher,
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth taking his place. I never was into that show, never watched it. I'm sure it's good.
I've watched maybe like one episode of it. I mean, there's so much stuff that I'm watching.
The reason I knew he might one day leave this show is because I saw him on I think it was Jimmy Kimmel, and they showed a little preview scene, and it was so ridiculous because it was out of context. It was him killing a bunch of like creatures, and then they panned back to Henry, and he's just with this smile of, what am I doing? I'm a movie star. Like, you could just tell on his face. It's like, it's a great story, but I think that show probably gave him a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, if you're Henry Cavill, don't you want to make Superman or make type of movies? Like, you're a superstar, and now he's getting that chance, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's back. I mean, if you saw Black Adam, which, I thought was a pretty decent movie. I mean,
I think it had to take a lot of hits because of all the mistakes a lot of previous DC movies have made. But
yeah,
I think The Rock, is physically and mentally strong enough to lead this next decade of the. I'm not going to call it a universe, because in the comics, there was a superhero cameos and stuff, but it was usually, wasn't it like by superhero?
Well, the thing is, they're united in that universe, but there also can be, their own, existing in their own little
Gotcha.
Like, Batman, existed in Gotham City, protecting Gotham City. And then, he can be in Justice League fighting, aliens and monsters and shit. So like they, when they come together, you'll see, they're united and in the same universe. And they even refer to each other, from time to time also. But they also existed in their own little corner. Like Doctor Strange. I mean, that's what I like about, the movie, the MCU. They do exist in their own little pocket, but also, they're also united and they have like a larger universe.
Are the Marvel comics constructed differently than the way the DC comic construct?
Well, it just all depends on like characters and stuff like that. But there's still, like that one big universe.
The reason I think Marvel has dived head first into this, multiverse and everything is because it really makes things easier, I think, as far as not confusing the audience.
Well, and
watching standalone films, but the positive on a standalone film is you watch Joker. It doesn't affect you if you love it. It doesn't affect you if you hate it.
It doesn't affect you if you didn't see, maybe a previous movie.
Right. You don't get a little joke because you didn't see the Disney Plus show, which is going to happen.
But it's happening now because, like, if you didn't watch WandaVision, some things that they talk about, in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, you won't get. But the whole entire gist of it is that, hey, Wanda did some shit that people, didn't necessarily like.
Man, and her as an actor, her role, she was one of my favorite female superheroes. Same with Black Widow. And I hear the first screening of Wakanda Forever was great. So in 3 weeks, I heard we got to see that. But back to Henry Cavill, coming back mostly because of Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that he's back. I mean, he comes in a little cameo in the mid-credit scene.
Okay.
It's pretty damn cool.
I'll have to YouTube it.
Yeah.
But also on board, James Gunn, ex-Marvel employee, maker of the real Suicide Squad, and also
Guardians of the Galaxy. And
no, the one with John Cena.
Oh, Peacemaker,
which had the after credits in the last episode of Aquaman and Ezra Miller. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is good. You need some leadership and some stewardship on these properties. So, because it just seems like they were just kind of flying by the seat of their pants. They had a knee-jerk reaction to the Avengers. That's what started, this whole thing. Okay, we're going to do Justice League, then spin them off into their own movies. And that did not work.
And see, that's the old regime, right?
Yeah.
So with this new regime coming in,
they're going to take their time. I mean, and this is what they should have been doing a long time ago. To me, if you really think about it, and we talked about this, DC has been owned by Warner Brothers for a very long time. And it's like you can't, you couldn't have had this universe here a long time ago, like at least in the mid to late 90s.
Yeah, because if you think about it, Marvel had to really hustle to make people know who these characters are because DC always overshadowed them.
Yeah, they had to go through a lot of shit. I mean, Marvel had
And all the rights to all the different universes.
Well, but also here's the thing, though. The first Marvel movie ever was theatrical movie was Howard the Duck. Yeah, Howard the Duck. Leah Thompson.
That's my favorite one. Yeah. I've never seen it actually.
Leah Thompson and what's his name? Tim Robbins. Yeah, Tim Robbins in an early role.
Robbins? No way.
And it's just, that movie was not done right because Howard the Duck is more like a foul-mouthed version of Donald Duck.
That's pretty funny though.
Yeah, I mean, you should read the comics. I mean, there's a lot of social commentary in it. There's a lot beneath, the humor and everything. But yeah, that was the first one. It was George Lucas. George Lucas produced that. Yeah. And I think he directed
Georgie.
It. Yeah, but so they had to go through a lot of shit.
But James Gunn is going to be the creative, I guess, kind of like how Favreau is. A little bit.
kind of overseeing and stuff like that. Maybe producing, maybe doing some writing.
So he was a part of that Marvel universe.
Yeah, James Gunn.
What happened with his connections?
Well, with Marvel, he got fired off of Guardians 3 because of some tweets that he sent out, I think back in 2008, 2009. And I think he was fighting against like a conservative guy. They were arguing on Twitter, and they got a hold of some tweets, those said tweets, and that destroyed him. And they just said, we're going to move on.
Really? He was going against a conservative. It seems like they would fire him if he was the conservative guy.
I don't know.
Because they're so, they are a little PC and woke.
Yeah.
It's a weird term to say, hey, they're just playing it safe.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, they fired him. Fans just, oh boy.
The actors came to his defense.
Yeah, the actors and the fans too. And were like, hire him back.
Dude, now that I refreshed my mind this morning that he was the guy who made Guardians what it was, I'm like, oh my God, that guy's a genius.
Yeah. I mean, he took C-list characters and made them stars.
And now the character you least expect to have his own spinoff, Groot.
Yeah. And they're going to have a Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special coming up.
Real quick, what is that? Is it a movie or is it?
It's like a 1 hour special, and Kevin Bacon is in it too.
Yeah, you gotta love Kevin Bacon.
6 Degrees,
dude. So Ben Affleck coming back as Batman, apparently.
Yeah, the rumors out that he signed for 3 pictures and a cameo,
not including what he's done. They've also pushed Matt Reeves' The Batman to 2025. So when earliest release. So when you hear something like that with movies, I think this movie could be done, the Batman 2. Do you think there's any chance it gets made? Because they didn't make the money they thought it was going to make. You can't say it's because of COVID, right? Because Spider-Man came out before that.
Well,
and then also there's a lot of things in that movie where if it was 20 minutes shorter, it would maybe be better. If there was more chemistry between Catwoman and Batman.
But remember, they said that they couldn't be too close because they filmed it during COVID.
But I'm just saying, you're getting tested hourly probably during that.
Yeah, I mean, well, we never know about the regulations.
They kissed, Yeah. So I mean,
and certain things, they filmed, then they had to stop.
Yeah, that messes up. It takes, and then they were supposed to come out on Halloween, right?
It was supposed. Well, I think it was supposed to come out like March of 21.
No, it came out March. Eventually,
it was the original release date was I think 2021.
Christmas, I think. It never gave us a real date.
It was supposed to come out in 21, and shit happened. So COVID.
But regardless of what you I still love the movie. But do you think the Batman 2 by Matt Reeves, Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz could be shelved?
I don't think it should. I mean, it was a good movie, damn good movie. Plus, with HBO Max, they were looking at the download numbers. They were looking at the watch numbers. So people responded to this movie. People liked it. I liked it. I liked the whole detective side of him. We finally got to see that.
Great cast.
Yeah, damn great cast. I mean, Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon. I mean, Zoe Kravitz played a great Catwoman.
And I think how they can pitch this to make it work.
And of course, Colin Farrell, my boy.
And that's up in that's up in the air too now. If this rumor is true, is that series going to get made?
Yeah, and Arkham Asylum has got a new showrunner, so that's spinning out of the Batman, universe.
of Pattinson's.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. The angles and the Batverse they've created has so many stories.
Yeah.
So that's something different that I don't think any other Batman movie has created, as far as it staying in that universe. Because there's so many like evil characters we haven't gotten into yet. There's so many regular characters that are in the comics that we haven't even seen before.
Yeah, and plus they set it up to where Barry Keoghan, who was in the Eternals, where he was going to be the Joker.
Now he's saying, when they call me, I'll show up, but I haven't heard anything yet.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is, hey, he's pretty much a slave to WB.
And that sucks because he is a pretty damn good actor, so he needs to know his scheduling.
Well, yeah, that, and, I don't know if there's going to be an Eternals 2, maybe. I mean, there might be an Eternals 2, but...
Eternals 2, if they make it, they got to mix some other Marvel characters in there.
Well, I mean, Black Knight is probably going to be one, because, it's set up at the end where he has that sword.
I'm talking about already established characters, just because... What happened when the Hulk was kind of struggling with making his own movie? They put him in Thor.
As a supporting character.
Yeah, so instead of making them supporting characters like they are in the comics, kind of.
I think now, I mean, I see what you're saying. They made him a supporting character in the Avengers movies, and they added Thor to his world. Yeah, I mean, I think that would probably benefit. I mean, because one thing that with Eternals, they were characters that nobody really knew. I mean, once again, Marvel tried to work their magic. I think that should have been like a Disney Plus show.
And I would have killed as a Disney Plus show if you kept that quality.
Yeah, and I think it just would have been, just better as a Disney Plus show because it's a lot for it's like a 3-hour movie, I believe. And you feel it at times. Yeah, you do.
And for a 3-hour movie, I just feel like there could have been more to give the audience.
Yeah, because, I mean, you got a lot
They
of
played it
backstory.
safe. I know they had COVID restrictions and whatnot, but they played it safe, it seemed.
Yeah. And I just feel that is probably going to be on the lower tier for a lot of fans of Marvel movies.
Yeah, but that lowest tier isn't necessarily bad.
No, because Marvel has like such a track record of greatness, which is why, so many studios, when they get these franchises like, Godzilla, they get the Godzilla universe.
Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, so they're trying to make a shared universe. Then, you got other things trying to make a shared universe. Sony was trying to make their shared universe.
Dude, real quick, you know how like in every Godzilla movie, there's always that one guy who says Godzilla?
Yeah.
Think about being in that casting room and seeing like 300 people come in and say one line. Go, you're on. Godzilla. Next. That's hilarious, but it's like that's the truth sometimes with casting. And I mean, that would be crazy. I mean, Godzilla, I don't think we need another Godzilla movie.
Well, we're getting a series.
That would make sense. Like you said.
Getting a series for Apple TV.
That makes sense. I mean.
Oh, well, we'll see. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
I just think there's a fatigue factor with the movies of Godzilla, King Kong.
Well, I mean.
This time they've released it. It's the best CGI ever in 2 years. Yeah, that doesn't look as good as I remember.
Yeah, because the thing is technology improves so much.
Ang Lee's Hulk still lives up, in my opinion.
Ang Lee's Hulk.
I mean, I see the differences, but
the CG doesn't really.
The night scenes are pretty damn good for that time, especially the fact that it came out when the first Spider-Man with Tobey came out, like a year or two after.
A year or two after.
So the CGI back then was not where it is today.
No, but the Ang Lee Hulk one, I've seen it more than one time recently, and it, the daytime stuff with the Hulk, it kind of doesn't hold up. It doesn't at all. No, it doesn't. It's like even the shadows. Eric Bana was a damn good Bruce Banner. Some people say, like, despite the CG and whatnot, that was probably their best iteration of Hulk. In some ways, maybe. You see that tortured side of him. Yeah. Which the Marvel movies kind of touch on. Now he's kind of gentle soul ready to erupt again. Well, he's learning to live with it, I guess. Embracing it. And, they made the deal, he and Hulk, came together and said, okay,
Was this Venom? Do we have a deal?
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, and that, hey, let's at least try to coexist. You can be, the outward appearance and I'll be the intellect.
I guess, but I still think.
And it was like that in the Peter David run too.
I still think, how epic it was when in Thor Ragnarok, when Bruce Banner just threw himself on the bridge and then he just laid there and then the wolf was coming for all the people. And next thing you know, you saw Hulk just grab him. Those are the moments with Incredible Hulk that you can't get with Smart Hulk.
That's true.
And I think that's what people miss. Yeah, it's better for us as fans, as an audience, to have him as Hulk and talk and use him. Ruffalo's a great actor.
Okay,
so
yes.
It's not just like you're putting somebody in a suit or CGI costume and then just using a voice actor to go over it. But he's too valuable, I guess, to them not to, take advantage of every part of him. But I think you got to find that balance. Maybe it has to be all right, you're Hulk, let me transform back down. Don't make it so hard on both characters, Hulk and Bruce Banner.
Yeah, and I think we will see that Savage Hulk. Maybe even see, the Gray Hulk. I would love to see the Mr. Fix-It Hulk, the one that's with the mafia.
on the trajectory it is now, the stories, do you think any of those are possible?
Possibly. It's all about how they want to do it, if they want to do it or not. What storyline do they have in mind?
I don't think it could work as a. I think it can work as a show, but I don't think Hulk movies. She-Hulk was okay, but I think she's gonna be better in a movie. Call me whatever for that, but I think the budget and actually having, a beginning, middle, and end that makes sense, and I get what they're trying to do with it. But can you imagine Bruce Banner in a show on Disney Plus with that same budget?
Yeah,
I can't. I don't want to see that.
But here's the thing.
That's like seeing Batman in that type of role.
But see, Batman is not a CG character.
Sometimes he is.
Well, yeah, I mean, in some shots, but he's not a big hulking monster. And I would say, the way they made him look on the show, She-Hulk dude was pretty much akin to the way they made him look in the movies. But I wouldn't mind seeing him,
But they had him like already saved from that CG, so they just reused it, I think.
And probably just touched it up.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it was high quality.
Only him.
Yeah. I mean, well, when you're doing
Scar looked decent, but that was just the face, really.
But really, when you're dealing with like a new character, you're always going to have like some rough points on it. I mean, look at the way the Hulk looked 2003. Now go to the way he looks now. They continually refine and refine. Thanos. Look at the way Thanos looked when he appeared in 2012.
Yeah.
As opposed to the way he looked in Endgame.
Well, that point brings me back to my original question. Do you think technology advances in CG, VFX warrant, reiterations of movies like King Kong? And you're always going to get a Godzilla, King Kong.
Of course.
It's like not having pumpkin pie on Thanksgiving. Once a year you'll see it, maybe once every 5 years. Jack Black did one, Adrian Brody. Everyone has been a part of those franchises. But I think it's like the Quentin Tarantino effect. He's done with something, he's done with it. I think as an audience, we should be done with something and let it go and let it live.
Like closure.
Yeah, let it live in the history of film, because then it's just like, oh, another one. Let's go see this one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, but you have to understand, Hollywood does not think that way. Which is why we've had so many endless sequels to Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. We've had so many, Spider-Man movies. We've had so many Batman movies and Superman movies.
Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, these are movies that you can continually mine for financial gain.
Very true.
That's why, like, I remember one time my mom asked me, like, how many of these superhero movies are going to make, or how many Batman movies? I'm like, this is a character that you can continually reinvent to the end of time.
That's a very good point you told me, Mom, because I asked a car dealer one time, like, and how many of these cars are you going to sell? As many as we can.
Yeah.
Same mindset.
Yeah, it's
a
all
business.
it's a bottom line. Yeah, it's a business movie. It's not it's show business.
Yeah.
Never forget that, because it's all about, hey, what can you do for me? How much money can you make for me? Can you make us money? And they sit around. I mean, with the remakes and stuff like that. Okay, I think that this can make money because people loved it back then. Like with these reboots.
I mean, where's the new Dracula?
Yeah, I mean, they had one with what's his name, Luke Evans.
How long ago?
This was like back maybe 10 years ago. It was supposed to start that Universal Dark Universe with Tom Cruise as the Mummy.
Oh man, whatever happened to the Mummy? That was I liked it.
It didn't make the money that they thought, and Tom Cruise was originally supposed to be the bad guy in that.
Isn't he? No.
I mean, but I guess, they switched it around for him to be the hero. So,
did you see that picture I sent you of the lady's yard? She put like a Moon Knight reference.
Yeah, caught you.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty cool. Halloween.
And speaking of which, this is Halloween.
October 30th.
Yeah. What's some of your favorite memories of Halloween?
Obviously trick-or-treating, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never really did too much. We would go to the mall. We go to the mall and trick or treat.
Which one?
We went to Northwest and Greenspoint.
Would you go to Foot Locker and they give you shoes?
Well, what they would do is they'd have candy. You go around to all the different stores, and then you line up, and I'd see several kids there in their costumes and everything, and they would, just pass out candy.
Dude, that seems like they should be doing that again. If they're not,
well,
that seems safe.
It's changed, and from when I was a little kid, I remember, trick-or-treating was a thing. And,
also,
and Halloween, Halloween
when you were
parties.
growing up, was there more of an aura of Halloween throughout the month?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I mean, I remember the local TV stations, CW, the local CW station, they had this, in around mid-October, they call it Inhuman Week. And what they would do is they show scary movies. They show one. And that was the first time I'd ever seen Halloween, and the first time I'd ever seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Is that the one with McConaughey?
No.
The first one.
The very first Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And oh man, that movie scared the shit out of me, because it comes off like a documentary. It's made in 1974 by Tobe Hooper, who did Poltergeist, who directed that. And the lasting image that I have is Marilyn Burns running from Gunnar Hansen, who played Leatherface, and he's got this chainsaw, and he's chasing her. And I'm like, holy shit, is she going to get away? And I remember in the TV guides, they had a picture of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I'm looking at his Leatherface, he's revving up the chainsaw. I'm like, what the fuck? And then the next night was Halloween. And it's always going to be etched in my memory that I mean, wow, this emotionless, face behind this emotionless mask, killing people. And, years later, I would come to appreciate it, and it wouldn't scare me as much, but because, you can, as you get older,
But it was it seemed like everybody was all in to make this a real holiday.
Yeah, it was, because, the candy and everything, and it's just fun. You get together, you get dressed up.
It's the shift of weather,
Yeah. And, you're getting into the fall and everything. Now it's an excuse for, women to dress up scantily clad and everything. And hey, not
even though they're not
wrong with that.
Well, they're doing it anyway on any day.
Yeah,
if they're doing it at all.
But it's an excuse. Oh, it's just my costume. They're doing it in record numbers.
Yeah, I would appreciate as long as they put time into that. I have no problem with it.
Yeah,
and it's a real character. But if you're just going as a slut, man or girl,
or just trying to show off,
or you're that dude that's in shape, you're not coming up with no shirt on, you're like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah, put a shirt on.
I get it, your personality is shit, but just put the shirt on.
Yeah, we get it. You spend 5 hours in the gym.
Some supplements might not be legal all the time, but
yeah, I mean, it was just about fun, and you watch scary movies and stuff like
Halloween parties back in the day.
Halloween parties,
haunted houses.
Awesome. Yeah, and they're dwindling.
And
these
bro,
haunted houses are dwindling.
There's these scare places around town, but I don't think they get the advert. It's like you as a kid, you'd be like, hey, make sure you go check out this scare house or this haunt. I remember going to my first haunted house. I cried. I was like maybe 8. I think I was in Dallas.
I went to my first haunted house I remember, did you ever have fall festivals?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember, dude, I used to look forward to those, man, as a kid. The fall festivals. I remember they had
those
like
would get you through like that first half of school too. You have something to look forward to.
Yeah, it would, because like September and then October, and I remember
next you know it's December. It's half that month.
Well, it's Thanksgiving and then Christmas, yeah. And you know, I remember the fall festivals at my elementary school were fucking awesome. I look back on those with fond memories, and the haunted houses were pretty cool too. I remember, I think 3rd and 4th grade, I got a little scared, you know, about going into the haunted houses, but I mean, it was still pretty cool. I remember 5th grade, they stopped because they didn't have the fall festival in October. They had it in November.
Oh, the Batman all over again.
And the thing is, like, the reason being is because they said they didn't want to promote like demons and things like that, you know, for the fall festivals. And I'm just like, oh,
like,
God.
what parent ruined that? It was like, I don't think this is right.
Yeah, exactly. And
ma'am, I understand, but there's a slaughterhouse across the street. You want to deal with them first?
But you know, it was like a guy who ruined going back to school after Labor Day, because remember we went back in August, and I hated that. I
feel like it's always shifted. It's always shifting.
Well, it would be sometimes like mid-August, then late August, mid-August, late August. Like when I was in elementary school, for a while we did go back in September.
That's pretty crazy
for a little bit. And then some guy was like, yeah, you know, they're not learning anything. They need to be in school more. Da, da, da. So school started in late August.
That's probably just the parent needing help, you know, with the kids.
I think it was like some wannabe educator or legislature or whatever. But I remember that day. I'm like, oh my God, this fucking guy is going to just destroy.
Because if you have 2 parents that work, it's probably easier for them to have you in school all day than at home. And then, you know, some summers are great, but sometimes you'll have those 2-week stretches. You're like, man, I'm kind of bored.
And that's what, you know, 4th grade. I remember when I was going to 5th. Yeah, there were some times where I'd just be like,
that's the age a lot of kids like maybe traveled. It's like, oh,
I didn't travel. I mean, I was just like at home like every day. I'm just like, yeah, need something to break up.
Houston hot.
Yeah, and so like that next summer, my mom put me in like it wasn't summer school, but it was like an enrichment program and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you had to get busy.
But the thing is, it was more like fun and games.
Well, it got you around people, right?
Yeah, it did.
And see, that's the thing. Like, there's not enough of that, I think, even in today's world. But when I was growing up, you had to make your group, and hopefully no one was out of town. And there was one summer I would always remember, we called it the Bash Cruise summer. We'd have pool parties every day. We'd get like this little floaty. Everyone would like fight to the death to like be the last one on there, and it hurt. But it was great. And then, man, life started to hit real fast. People got mature on you.
Yeah, I mean, that it happens, man. But I tell you, and even before like elementary school, like, you know, wanting to dress up. And I remember, I think I dressed up as Superman one year, and we went to the mall to go trick or treating, and then I went to a Halloween party one year dressed up as an army guy, and you know, yeah, man, it's like, you know, when you're a little kid, Halloween, you know, all these holidays mean the fucking world to you. You know, and I still love Halloween. I
still love Halloween, dude. I just like you said at the beginning of this conversation, it's become a reason for girls and guys to wear. Guys don't really dress up anymore, and then girls will dress up pretty slutty unless they have a personality. Don't hate me, but I'm being serious. Like, you go to these bars and clubs, you don't see badass costumes.
No.
You don't see something like that took somebody 6 hours. You see something they got from Costume City, or maybe at Victoria's.
But at least they're dressing up, though.
I mean, I wouldn't mind it if the girls weren't, but we wouldn't be in the United States. Yeah. But I think it would be so badass to have things like that, you know, Halloween, and actually appreciate Halloween for what it is. And I think it's a good educational like thing for older people to teach kids. Like, yeah, some of this shit does happen. Like, there are serial killers. Like, there is death in this world. Like Day of the Dead in Mexico. I remember one year in school, we did these skulls out of sugar. We learned about a whole different culture's a way of celebrating like their version of Halloween. I think that's a whole segment that should be talked about so people understand that, yeah, this is a finite life, but it doesn't mean you can't have fun with it.
Yeah. I mean, look, you celebrate Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving the way that you want to do it, not the way that other people are telling you to. Because my mom is like, oh, I don't like scary movies. That's why I don't like Halloween, and just celebrates, demons and everything. I'm just like, look,
we're going to sit down and watch them.
I'm like, great. I mean, okay. The Halloween is about, scary movies and stuff like that. And, a lot of the subject matter, has to do with, demonic figures and stuff like that. But, it's just about getting a good scare. I mean, it's all, I looked at it as fun, just fun and games.
Especially when you kind of have a director or creator making that movie that appreciates the genre.
Yeah.
So it's not just all gore. It's like, there's a reason behind it.
Yeah.
And I think when you take that sheet away and you realize, hey, this is just as good as a comedy, just as good as a drama, if the movie is good. But I think you see movies like Paranormal Activity, which, okay, maybe some people like the first one, but it doesn't do it for me.
Paranormal Activity kind of comes off like, The Ring and, a little bit of Poltergeist and stuff like that. They
should have stopped at The Ring. I think
I never really got into those movies.
I think that those are the type of movies people are like, I don't like scary movies.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like this. What more can you do? I mean, they have the new one, Smile, which I have not seen yet, and they said that one was pretty good. Then there's the one that's on HBO Max called Barbarian.
It too was pretty damn good.
Yeah, I heard. I loved It and It too. Love those. And they're coming out with a prequel series to It. Welcome to Derry.
It's gonna be badass.
Yeah.
See, if you do it successfully, it's just like the superhero universe. Things can come after it.
Well, and also you just have to do it right. First and foremost, you have to execute.
And this is, in my opinion, you got to have people that love that story. You can't just attach people because they've been doing it. Yeah, they've been doing it 30 years. They have a lot of knowledge, but they've never done a horror film before.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not working with this guy. Give me the guy who originally played Freddy Krueger just to get his insight on how they did it back in the day. Let me talk to the best.
And I actually did get to talk to Robert Englund.
When? What did you talk about?
This was I think it was 2009, and it was the year before the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street came out. And I saw him in like his bar, and I'm like, shit, that's Robert Englund. Like, never get another chance like this again. So I came in, sat down to him, just acted like I didn't even know he was there. And I was like, oh my God, Robert Englund. And he's like, oh, hey, and nicest guy ever. And we were asking him, we heard like a lot of rumors, like there was like supposed to be like a Freddy prequel, showing like Freddy before, he becomes, this boogeyman. And then there was another one about, of course, Freddy versus Jason Part 2. And so he said that
was the first one I ever seen, and I hated it.
I liked it. I
just don't understand how
it was something that was years in the making too.
Yeah, I think it could have been better in my opinion.
Possibly some things. I mean, but they wanted to make a part 2 with I think Ash from Evil Dead, and it was the rumor going around. Now there's a comic book series.
Still could happen, maybe.
Well, they're all kind of older now, so.
Dude, he's still badass. He's hilarious.
Bruce Campbell, yeah. Met him too, but I mean, and Robert Englund even says like, I'm getting kind of old to play, Freddy Krueger because, the stunts and everything, and he actually did reprise his character on the Goldbergs, but he said like, they better kind of hurry up if they're gonna do it. But he was telling me like, just about what they did. I mean, New Line barely had any money. It was like a low budget thing, and most horror movies are.
Yeah.
It doesn't take them that long to make. They do the effects, on camera, on set, no CG. Because I don't think CG really serves horror movies, the horror genre, really very well. Because the thing is, it's all, when you see CG, you're like, oh,
and it all depends how you're viewing the CG, on what monitor, what TV, what setting.
Well, that too, but I mean, the thing is, it was all about using your imagination to create something.
And dude, a lot of the stuff that I look away from are from practical effects.
Yeah, I mean the stuff that like American Werewolf in London. That transformation scene was awesome. When David Naughton is transforming to the wolf for the first time, it looks painful, and all that shit was done on set. Nothing is CG about that.
That's what's up.
Nowadays, that would have been CG, totally CG, and it kind of might even take you out of it.
It does. For me, it does, especially if the movie is still good. It takes me out of it just because I'm like, okay.
And it's like, oh God, I can tell it's a computer.
This is where I think CG is okay. Like in Spider-Man No Way Home on that bridge, the sides,
oh yeah,
that's
can
okay
for that, yeah.
But when it becomes like, man,
if it's just a little too much,
yeah, and it can get like that in those superhero movies, like Endgame. The whole background is kind of noticeably. But what are you gonna do?
Nothing.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, with and he was just walking me through, like giving me a history of the Nightmare on Elm Street films.
And think about that. Nightmare on Elm Street was CG. What more creatively could you come up with that you couldn't do with practical effects?
Yeah, and I mean, he said it's something that he does miss. He's like, he knows that, hey, CG is around, and stop motion is not really done that much these days either.
I remember Gumby.
Yeah, and
Freddy. I mean, I think that's my favorite.
Yeah, I never gravitated towards Friday the 13th. I don't know for what reason.
My brother does.
I don't know for what reason, but
I think it's because there's a personality to Freddy. He's funny. He's evil. He says "bitch."
Yeah,
there's something.
And with Michael Myers, like the first, to me, I like the first two Halloweens. With Nightmare on Elm Street, I like the first and third, and New Nightmare.
And I think Nightmare on Elm Street has produced more actor celebrities than
Lawrence Fishburne, Patricia Arquette, Johnny Depp. Is a big one. Is probably the biggest one.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that movies aren't made like that anymore, horror genre wise, it's a stepping off point for a lot of young actors.
Yeah, it is.
And we thought that was going to be our break, but it wasn't. We're not going to say what movie.
Let's leave that in the past. That was like
Kylo Ren, let the past die.
Yeah, that was almost 10 years ago too, man.
I think it was longer.
No, it was 2013.
I was 19.
Yeah, it was 2013.
Probably finished.
It was August of 2013 when we started filming.
Dude, I'm just saying, if you're ever an actor and you get to set 2 hours on the call time, you're an hour early, but then the director
is drunk.
Not just that, I can live with that if you do your job, but you come 2-3 hours after the call time and then you have to speed through the whole process. You forget to feed your actors. I mean, what the fuck? We thought, I didn't know better. I was a kid. I wanted to make it work. I had that belief. I was like, come on, we can make this work. We can make this work. But dude, those are some things that I don't miss, because that's probably happening a lot more than on making a movie than actually doing a movie right. I don't think majority of people have it storyboarded, each shot,
or clearly written out and everything, or if they do have it clearly written out, they're just changing unnecessary shit. I mean, it's like, just let it be.
Yeah, I mean, changing is always enticing, right? But make the film as it is on the paper, because if you're watching a movie, yeah, I wish I could change that, but you can't anymore. So don't change it unless it's necessary, like an actor drops out or you don't get the rights to a certain character. I think we can talk about how Hollywood and the movie making experience can go in a different direction, because it's such a good outlet for people to get creative. And it's not just about being an actor. There's directors, there's people who want to have those jobs on set. There's voice actors. I mean, if you were to tell the average person, go find an agent, a real agent, it's impossible almost. Yeah. Like those people in California. It's like you're gonna get a person that you walk into their office and it's like, it smells like the 70s. The wood even looks like it's deteriorating. And you're just like, oh man. But you get excited because they actually do believe in you, but does that system want you? Because you see a lot of these movies, they're hooked to these companies like Universal or WB, and that they keep popping up. So even if Matt Reeves doesn't make another Batman movie, he still has to make another movie for Warner Bros.
I would rather see him make a sequel to the Batman. I mean, I hope that Ben Affleck's Batman doesn't, spell doom for Matt Reeves.
I hope it doesn't, just because.
Do you think that these two Batman can coexist? Because
I think you made a great point.
Is it going to confuse audiences?
I think you made a great point. Ben Affleck's in the DCEU. Okay, Matt Reeves seems like he just wants to focus on the Batverse.
Yeah. He's just making a grounded version of Batman. So I don't think we're going to see Clayface or any of these
if we do, we'll get like a Christopher Nolan version of it, more realistic.
We'll get a guy who kind of like what Burton did with the Joker. We'll get a guy who can like probably mold his face and his body and everything. He's probably one of these guys who can he's a master of disguise. That's probably how you're going to have to do that. Because Clayface could turn into anyone. And he could also, he's also like an ugly monster.
And we saw how, they kind of went with the contact lenses that can see and record. So there's technology in that universe.
What's it called? Deadshot?
No, not just Deadshot, but with the Batman. Remember he would wear the contact lenses? So there's technology that can explore, but does it go across that line of this isn't quite the vision you had at the beginning? So it would be hard for me to see them connect the universes.
Well, and also you have to remember 52 Earths. There's 52 Earths. So that universe could possibly exist alongside. I mean, and
so that's their key there. Market it as the 52 Earths.
Yeah, like Crisis on Infinite Earths. Yeah. Great story. You should read it.
I will.
Well, Astros Game 3 tomorrow. Lance McCullers Jr. is on the mound. You know what? Like I said earlier, if he can stop the walks in the early runs, I think he's going to do great, and the Astros are going to have to, just hit. They've been doing a great job with runners in scoring position too. I've been thoroughly impressed with that. And, Lance McCullers Jr., I have full faith in him. I do. Let's see, and then we got Christian Javier possibly for Game 4. I'm looking forward to that too, because that guy he's just nails a lot of times. And please start David Hensley over Trey Mancini and Aledmus Diaz. He can't be any worse than them. I mean, I love Trey Mancini, but he's 0-16. You were
high on him. You were high on him.
Yeah, but it's like this. He's not hitting. So you just gotta have to find who's gonna give you that spark. But Halloween is tomorrow. Guys, be safe, have fun. Most importantly, watch some horror movies, pop some popcorn, eat some of the sugariest candy you can find: Snicker bars, Starburst, Skittles, gummy bears, gummy worms, gummy spiders, spider webs. The candy was awesome too. Kit Kat.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Ooh.
Gummies first. And
I love
chocolate.
gummies. I love
which gummy do you like, and which chocolate is your favorite?
Just really like the regular gummy bears,
the old fashioned,
like the Haribo gummy bears. Those are the only ones I fuck with.
You don't like when they get tricky with it, start mixing in flavors that just don't blend well.
I kind of do. But I'm a guy that kind of
Haribo is like the gold standard.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! That's the only one I fuck with.
On chocolate side, I like Three Musketeers just because I like that softness.
Huh? I like the Hershey's.
You looked at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah, I like that because no one's ever really said Three Musketeers.
Well, think about this. Like, you want to bite into something so chocolatey, and then it's so smooth, and you don't have to work for those bites, and you're like, I don't want that peanut butter in there, really,
I'd love me some Kit Kats, dude. Dark chocolate Kit Kats.
Those are good, but I think.
And speaking of which, there's a Walgreens outside your place. I can go get some, dude.
Dude, the Kit Kats on Halloween.
They hit differently though.
No, they do, because those were one of the candies you would get the most.
Oh yeah, I remember
Reese's, those individual ones, Kit Kat, Skittles.
Yeah, I remember Skittles were like a big staple for my Halloween experience.
Occasional razor blade.
I was watching Halloween 2, and one kid, I think he bit into a razor blade, and you don't see it happen, but his mother's walking him in, and he's like got blood just gushing out of his lip, and yeah, but please check your candy, before you eat it, because I think there's still like that whole thing with razor blades and nails and
now it could
shit.
be like these drugs they're talking about,
LSD, lacing and stuff with LSD, like the pixie sticks,
fentanyl and shit.
Yeah, so just be careful, kids.
Be careful, but happy Halloween from Sean Z. Jason, show him what it is.
But hey, happy Halloween. Check us out. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Comic Construct, folks. Catch you later.